Good evening, televiewers. You're welcome to Prime Hour on My Media Prime. This evening, as usual, every Friday, we look at how to make our lives better, how to make money, how to get ourselves thinking positively, as to equip ourselves to be able to change our immediate family life, our communities, our regions, our nation and continent, with panelists who are always here from Tex Global Change Services Limited. They are in the house already to tell us this evening how to succeed in the midst of change and disruptive technologies. But to tell us that we have been live from Kumba, chief town of Meme Division, where we have been streaming live. We are in our own way also paying homage to the patriarch. We are talking about a late foreign Senator V.E. Mukete, who is going to be buried, I'm sure, tomorrow out there in Kumba. We are going to be trying to link up with Kumba this evening in the course of this program. And after this program, we are going to go live to Kumba to be able to actually get how the atmosphere looks like, and also tell us how it has been since the arrival of the mortal remains of late Senator von V.E. Mukete, the fallen paramount ruler of the people of Bafor out there. He is a patriarch and one of the most respected persons who was still living in Cameroon. But this evening we are going to be discussing on how to succeed in the midst of change and disruptive technologies with our panelists who are seated already. Mr. Buji Liansin, who is the marketing director of Tex Global, is in the house with us this evening. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Liu. Good evening, televiewers. It's another Friday, and we'll be here to change the narratives as usual to empower lives. Today we are going to be talking about a very important topic: change and technology. You know, of course, that as humans we need to evolve with the times, despite the fact that change is happening at warp speed, at the speed of light. We have to catch up, and technology is also accelerating in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. That's where we decided today that we will touch this topic because it concerns every one of us.
Okay, we also are in the company of Mr. Neba Paul. He is an ambassador of Audacity of Success. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. Good evening, televiewers. It's a wonderful day again. How fast time passes. It's another Friday again, and we're here to exchange our ideas with viewers out there, because we are certain that you will contribute as always, and we are going to have a smooth ride this evening. It's a very, very, very technical topic that we are going to be discussing today. Pull your chairs and sit and get some popcorn. It's going to be funny while we learn together.
Okay. We're also in the company of Mr. Guan Fitz. He's a business coach. He's taking part on Prime Hour for the very first time. We're glad to have you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Liu. It's a pleasure being here, and probably this evening, trust me, there are so many things we're going to be sharing together. We're going to see how man can actually live by man, because I believe with that concept, we all are going to see how we can use technology and the changes that we have around us to better our lives.
Okay, we are expecting the arrival into our studios in the minutes ahead for Miss Lorna Rika Ngutesi. She is the marketing manager of Chef Academy, operating out there in Boya, Southwest Regional Capital. While we await her arrival, I will start with you, Mr. Buji. We are talking about disruptive technology. Today may be a little bit complicated. No, we want everybody to understand what is happening. Can we break this down for people to understand what we're talking about today?
Yes, of course. When we talk about disruptive technologies, we are talking about the technologies that are new, and they are again more advanced than the technologies that we usually have. They are seemingly very difficult for man to understand, but not impossible. We are talking about things like robotics, robots. Like robots are now coming into the scene. Some of them taking even our jobs. If you go to like in Rwanda, We had a time that we had robots that actually replaced the personnel at the airport to check the COVID. That was to reduce the rate of infection. We also have, still in Rwanda, which is in Africa, I want to be using examples that are here. We have a company that delivers pharmaceutical products to look
using
at
a drone.
A drone, yeah. So imagine that you need blood in Cambe now, and it's the nearest supply is Douala. To take an aircraft or to take a car to Cambe is very far, but a drone can deliver that within 45 minutes. So those are the type of technologies that are coming.
Yeah, but let's get back to Cameroon. We are talking Rwanda here.
Yes.
When we talk of disruptive technologies, what are some of the things that may readily come to mind?
Okay, we are talking about things like, we also talk blockchain technology. I think that's what many Cameroonians are very familiar with already, because blockchain technology would definitely include things like cryptocurrencies. And the funniest thing is that many people in Cameroon as well as getting into this technology without education. Some of them don't know the difference between cryptocurrencies and the blockchain technology itself. So those are disruptive technologies. You have, if we use phones in Cameroon, then we also have artificial intelligence. You have times that your phone communicates with you. For those who use iPhones, you have Siri, I'm sure, where you can actually have a conversation. There are a lot of things that happen, and when you go on Facebook or online, you actually see some advertisements that are targeting you. Those things are thanks to artificial intelligence. So these are things that affect us, either we like them or not. So we'll be going too deep.
Okay. Like announced earlier, we said that we are going to be joined by Miss Lorna Rika, who is already here with us. I don't know whether she was caught in traffic. We thank God that she's in the studio with us. Good evening, Miss L. That's how we call you now. We're glad to have you.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening to everybody. Maybe I should apologize. I'm sorry I'm late. It's called in traffic.
They caught in traffic?
Yes.
Today you are in black. Good morning.
No, of course not.
Okay. You decided to come in black, lady in black today. Okay, how are you?
No, thank God, I'm okay.
Okay. And Shep Academy is doing
It's
good?
moving on so well.
Okay. We also in now. I don't know whether just wondering whether you should take this question. Yes, we are talking about adapting, how to succeed in the midst of change and disruptive technologies. From our minds, when we engage from the very onset that we engage in every business, should we already start thinking of a possibility of one day coming face to face with what we are talking today? Because we are talking about evolution in technology.
Yes, immediately as you begin your business or whatever you're starting, you have to have it at the back of your mind that with time things will change. Now things are not changing because you want them to change, but because your product or service was made for a particular class of persons. And as the days are going by, their taste and fashion, everything is changing about them. And so if you cannot be able to upgrade to meet up with their present demands, you discover that your product or your service gets out of the market. So as soon as you begin your business, you have to start looking forward to the possibilities of innovating. And when it has to do with changes like this, you don't wait for, it's not a change that customers or the people around you walk up to you and say, oh, I don't like this now, I now like this. It's something that you as the leader involved, or as the CEO involved, or as the businessman involved, or whoever that is standing at the forefront in the case of a business or product or anything, you have to be able to observe and discover that people's taste or people's desires or demands are changing. So there is no business that can stay in market, there is no organization that can stay in the market if they are not innovating, if they are not moving, they are not evolving. Things are changing. Like the way we used to do things in the past, it's not like how we do it today. Every day or every second, something new pops up.
I was asking about a practical example in the case of Cameroon. I would like us to understand that in our days, our mothers used to buy box match now.
Of course, yes.
But today you are using gas lighters, which
Yes.
means that maybe the guys who were doing were supposed
Yes,
to. Yeah.
they're supposed to go.
Have candles. We have solar.
Yes, I had to come to that. So that's an example. Now, it's not even candle. There's something we used to use. I forgot how they call it. Okay, two candles. Yes, there's something we used to use. Our grandmothers used to use that. I think I knew that before I knew a lamp. Like they used to put a small bottle and it has a rope there and all that. Like we left from there, went to lamps. From lamps, we went to candles. And today, even an old mother in the village is asking for a solar bulb. They know like it's better to now use a solar bulb. They might not be able to explain to you why, but they feel like it's better. So it means like things are changing. There are so many things that we want to come to the Cameroon context. A lot of things have actually changed that people are just ignoring. Change is occurring, but some people are not vigilant enough to identify that it's a change.
Okay.
They don't really see it as a change.
That is a change. Is this also a wake-up call to whosoever is involved in whatever business to know that what the desires of the people today may be the same, but the methods of service delivery in the next 20, 30 years may have to evolve?
Yes, that's quite correct. Once you get into business, you must take innovation very serious, because as time is going on, people's desires change. Other companies come up with other services, and if their services are more innovative than yours, people will definitely divert to theirs and they are going to drop yours. In the recent 2012, 14, 15, money transfer in Cameroon was controlled or monopolized by one company, and at one point in time, change occurred and they did not realize that change. People started transferring money in Cameroon electronically, and this company that was dominating did not seize that chance to innovate. Mind you, this company is almost out of the market. Rarely do their branches, their branches were very, very rampant everywhere. Some are shut down. Some in towns like Douala, where there's too much heat, they cannot use air conditions again and stuff like that. Why? Because they can't meet up again with the cost of running them. Clients have automatically diverted. And today, in early days, people were not so caring about their feelings. But today, customer service too is something that's innovated so much. People will care the way they are treated more than anything, and that industry too, or that same business line too, had a problem that they had the clients that they were serving them, and the customer service wasn't the best. But people were still coming, and now they were so happy, they were dominating the market, and they stopped moving. You agree with me that anything that doesn't move dies? Every standing water smells, and at one point in time they were smelling, and somebody else dominated the market, and they're now struggling to come back, and there's no way. So as a business person, at every point in time, you should see in the future and be there before anybody follows and overtake you.
Okay, is it also time for our business men to understand that change is also that moment that signals the need for growth and not necessarily an end to what you have been doing? We should always be ready to see the need for change as that opportunity to grow.
All right, Mr. Lee, I want to say that with regards to what we are talking about, changes, it's either we all accept it, it's a fact, or we deny it and face the consequences. Now, I always tell people that it's either you disrupt yourself or you be disrupted. Now, so many changes have been happening around, so many, we don't even want to start naming them. But now, for you to succeed like a businessman, the essence of this topic today is to see how people can monetize the changes that we have around, because at the end of the day, if we're not able to monetize them, then we're just wasting resources. So many companies, if there's anybody who has not been affected during the COVID-19 period, then that person is not a human being, of course. So many changes occurred, and so many smart companies or smart individuals took advantage of that, and created, like I always tell people, if you actually want to make money, you should be able to create something new or use an existing system, innovate on it, and you make money. So like a business person, trust me, if actually you want to succeed or stay in the market, innovations is one of those things. Technology is one of the key factors that you actually have to take note. I always tell people, so many people don't even know the history of Samsung. You know, so many people when they just hear about Samsung, they think of Samsung phones, Samsung TVs, Samsung refrigerators, and all what you know about Samsung. But trust me, I'm just giving an assignment to our televiewers. Go back to that and try to read the history of Samsung. But I think it will be very important for me to give the headlines here. You know, Samsung, they started their business actually into the sales of crayfish, smoked fish, and flour. You know, now with time, they were like, what? Are you sure this is the only thing that is going to give us money? They started thinkation came in. You know, now they came up with electronics, from phones, refrigerators, TVs, how do we call this? ACs, you know. So now, if Samsung was not able to innovate, trust me, they would have gone out of the market.
Oh, they will still be selling
crayfish,
yes, at a very minimal level. Yeah.
Yes. So that is what is happening today. Everybody needs technology, whether you like it or not. Mr. Leo, you'll be shocked that during my training session, I had some mentees. I told them, okay, I'll send you guys email. Go verify your email and let me know. Just click on verification so that I could get a confirmation that, okay, we are together in the training session. Mr. Leo, can you imagine a student who is doing masters in marketing was not able to get into a, she's not even have an email, let me put it that way. It's terrible. It's terrible. So we are telling our people that it's high time we actually take this aspect very, very serious. Like an individual, like a business, like a company, like a society. It's very, very important. So many people are neglecting it, but trust me, for the people who have my WhatsApp number, I did mention on my status today that in the next 3 to 5 years, illiterates are not going to people who do not go to school. But trust me, people cannot use technological facilities. There are some people, when they just open a back office of any site, they just feel intimidated. They don't even know what to click, what to do. Say, no, if I click it, I will spoil it. I'm like, no, you can't. Why? Because so many of them are not used to technology. How will you be a master student in Cameroon? Let's even say doing a degree program. You don't have an email. You don't even know how to use it. And all of that is terrible. So it's a very important aspect that we are calling on every individual, family, society, country to.
Yeah, but I like the example of Samsung. To imagine that they were involved in the sale of fish. This is also to tell you, whoever you are, that if you today are into selling fish in a supermarket, or you are selling oil in maybe the food market in Bamenda, or a mother who could be selling wool in Tico, to note that that shouldn't be a limiting factor. You should also know that tomorrow you have all the potentials and possibilities to becoming the biggest business person in whatever domain, if you have the will and desire to get it done.
Of course.
Yeah, Mr. Muji.
Of course, the truth is, there's one thing. When change arrives, if you resist change, it's going to crush you. Nobody has ever resisted change and succeeded.
You go out of business.
Let's take the story of Nokia.
Okay.
Soon we'll be talking more about telecom companies today.
Yeah.
When Android was about to be invented, Nokia was dominating. I don't know what your first phone was, but I'm sure maybe it was Nokia.
Yeah, I've used
Nokia C113. What is? There was Nokia and Motorola actually ruling the market at those days. You actually have that handshake. So when Android was being introduced, Nokia started resisting. Nokia resisted the change. At the end of the day, Nokia could not run with the Java scripts that they were running at. What happened is
others took over the market.
Yes, others took over the market. Now, it so happened that Nokia, that was a company that was worth billions, ran out of business. And in the day that Nokia was being acquired by Microsoft, remember Nokia, at times you saw Nokia with Windows instead of the Android system. So when Nokia was to be acquired by Microsoft, the CEO in his speech cried. he cried and told his staff that they did not do anything wrong. They did not do anything wrong, but they failed. They failed to meet up with the speed of which the world was heading to. And this is the consequences they are suffering today. Still, that very Microsoft took the Nokia and did not still adopt Android. That is why Nokia went out of business until even the Microsoft, it did not sell because everybody is going for Android. At the end of the day,
they came up with the Windows phone.
The Windows phone, but they are back. Nokia phones now running Android now because you cannot resist the change.
Yeah.
So that is, it shows that if you're a local businessman out there or you are doing anything, you have to change the way you are doing it. Look at the trends. What do customers demand most of the time? Are you treating them well? It could just be an innovation in the way you treat them. Maybe you give them a type of comfort whenever they are around. You have some type of even the speakers that you use, your customer service, all these things constitute change. People now want to be treated better. Your clients, if your competitors treat their partners better than the way you do, your customers are going to switch to them. Customers, you don't need to tell them. Customer loyalty is not even a strong thing in Cameroon. Where customers are treated better, they follow. That is the truth. Now, back to us as from Tex Global. We decided to get into agriculture. And going into agriculture, we realized that we cannot do the agriculture that our great-grandparents were doing. You will not get up and go to the farm today and you will till with the normal local hoe to till the soil. Mr. Lee, you will not do that. But if you come to the Tex Global farms and they give you a power tiller, they'll be telling you that, Mr. Lee, let's go home. You will not go home. Because it makes work, it's technology. It makes the tilling very easy, the ridges very easy, and that's it. Even digging holes, we have the driller that can drill the earth very faster, which means we'll have 1,000 plantain suckers to plant. You will do it very faster. That is what made us different from the other local farmers out there. So if you are a business person, no matter what you do, even in the education that you take, there are times that if you don't also evolve, I think that's the reason why Shape Academy is there in the first place. At one point, we realized that our educational system has failed to prepare us for this future. The future that we arrived in, we realized that it became a totally different one. Because you are looking at, where does my history fit in? You are not seeing. What does my literature fit in? You are not seeing it. So you have to do things that you need to adapt to the current change because you have to pay bills, either you like it or not. You can speak very good grammar, but at the end of the day, you must pay bills.
Okay, you must pay bills. Let's look at what it will take to succeed in the midst of all of this. We have to also understand that in your business, you need to be very dynamic. Of course. You, as leaders, you need to understand how to make change, when. Yes.
In the midst of changes, as a leader, I think the first thing you have to take note of is you have to ask yourself that, where is this change taking us to first?
Okay.
What is this change supposed to do? If you know what the change has to do, it's going to push you. It's going to be a push factor. It's going to fuel the change. And when you understand where the change is taking you to, it will be easier for you to put down the processes, because change is just a broad picture. But for you to effectively instate a change, there are procedures that you have to put in place. And if you don't have an understanding of what the change has to do to you, then you will not be able to put down these steps that will help you get to where you're going to. And one problem that people face regarding succeeding in the midst of change is that they fail to communicate. And the people who the change has to have to affect, they fail to also see with their mind's eyes. Now, this is why I put it in two ways. Now, if you are in an organization and the leader wants to effect change, sometimes you don't wait till when the leader says that. The leader calls a meeting and says, okay, now we want to change. We're about to move. Every Now, there are leaders that lead from wherever they are. So there is somebody that chairs the activities or whatever in the organization, but you that is serving, you are also a leader. So you have to be smart enough to understand when there is change. Now, if we can be able to understand when there is a need for a change, it will be easy for you to be able to sustain yourself in the midst of the change, because you're able to see it coming. I also like to bring this, Mr. Liu. Some people fail to understand the meaning of the difference between disrupting and distracting somebody or a system. We might be talking now, you get distracted for a few seconds, and it will be easy for us to just tilt back your focus. So you can be distracted for a few seconds and you're back to the main key. But when we're saying that something has been disrupted, it means that it puts a complete halt to whatever you were doing, and they will never disrupt something that is working positively. Whatever is disrupted is something that has not something that has not yield fruits. But now most of us don't see that. That is why when change is about to occur, we are afraid of it. Many people are afraid of change. And when we were still in secondary school in philosophy, they told us that the only constant thing is change. The only thing that does not change is change. The statement is very complex though, but the only thing that does not change is change itself. So the first thing you must do for you to be able to sustain yourself or your business as a leader, or to be able to maintain your teammates in your business or organization when you are about to effect change, is that be able to understand what the change has to do. As the leader, know what the change has to do for you and your organization. The next thing is that you have to communicate it, because not everybody accepts change the same way. There's some people that will accept change in a very calm manner, like, okay, it's fine, so what are we doing next? But the human system is wired to fight change, to be resistant to change. That's how the human system is wired. The human system is wired to resist change. So it comes with a lot of psychological understanding. It comes with a lot of belief for one to be able to accept that the change has to take place. Believing is not just enough. In the implementation, there are still people who get to a point where the belief they had from the beginning of the change begins to shake a little, becomes shaky, because when the change was about to be implemented, the processes were not made. So if you want to be able to sustain the system or the organization when you're effecting change, away from communication, understanding that the people involved might not receive the change the same way, get to the point where you break down the steps that will carefully guide you to the point where you're going to, the point where you're heading to. If you don't break down these steps, trust me, along the line, people will get tired of the system and they will start breaking down in the change. Yeah.
But we must also be very observant to understand what we call change context, which should be very alert to understand when it's time for change.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to be alert to understand when there is time for a change, not only as a user, but also as the provider. So if there is a change in the train of what you supply, for instance, like consumers start giving you some demands, or your consumers are going towards another market. Like for instance, you were supplying Java phones, and your clients are going towards Android. What happens is you just need to be alert. Why are they doing that? You need to, when you notice that, you need to switch automatically to what the clients are demanding, or you do something in your original product that will make them stay. And as a consumer, there are times that the services that you are enjoying, automatically you see some other people are getting better, they're getting better services from elsewhere. It means that if you will have to excel in what you are doing using those tools, you actually have to move up towards that direction. Why are we heading here? I always like to come back, but everything is tied to what we learn. What we are learning. What are you learning? Is what you're learning, is it going to be useful in the next 5 years, in the next 1 year? If what you are learning is not going to be useful, how is it going to help? You need to ask those questions, which means you are already anticipating for change in advance. If you don't, as an individual, don't learn to change from an individual level, only then can we be able to affect our organizations, our businesses, the associations that we find ourselves in, and the country, as well as the African continent. Everybody has to be ready. I love the term Mr. Ngwan used as disrupt yourself or be disrupted. Actually, I have one of my favorite authors, Nikki Vet. I've had the opportunity to talk with her. So she explained her story, how it all happened before she ever wrote Disrupt Yourself or Be Disrupted. She said one day she was sitting comfortably in her office very early in the morning, and the boss called her. She smiled to his office, and the man said, Nikki, how are you? Nikki said, fine. He said, Nikki, sorry, we will no longer be needing you. So, like, she said, what? It's like she became speechless because she could never imagine. She had what we call job security. You know that at least this is I have a job. Anything can happen. Now, because things change, it happens that normally artificial intelligence have assistants, which means, like for instance, when we talk about assistants, like I always tell somebody, I teach ICT, so I talk about personal digital assistants, which are things that we usually need people to do them for us, a personal assistant, but we now have personal digital assistants. And if you want to go to the basic way, your calculator is a personal digital assistant. If you want to calculate money, you ask it, it does it for you. If you want to call somebody, it calls for you. Those are things that in the olden days, if a message has to be transmitted, they send somebody from one village to the next to go and transmit it. So things have changed. So it so happened that is how she lost her job. She was not prepared for anything. She was not prepared for change. The education that she has taken before only limited her to that job, and her destiny was tied to it. But the good thing is that she realized very fast that she could do something for herself, and she started doing it. She started going, why is it that I am rendered useless, as she would call herself? Now you are an accountant, and you realize that you are not, the accounting services are no longer in high demand because maybe technology has come that people just use their mobile phones and it does them send their statements and the rest. So you are no longer needed. What do you do at that level? So you have to alert yourself, know that you have to switch directly to the field that will be in demand, anticipating for the future.
Mr. Paul, is it also very capital to understand the human dynamics, how people respond to change, to be able to catch on it?
Yes, it's very, very important, because the tendency is that, as Miss L rightly said, people will resist change. They will always resist change, because the human being likes to do habits. You know, what I did yesterday, I should do it tomorrow, I should do it after tomorrow, I should keep doing it. But naturally, as nature is, what is constant is never the best. Change is necessary. But now, in the domain that you want to make that change, there's need for you to understand how those who that the change is going to affect are going to react to that change. Because if you don't do that, when they actually resist that change, maybe the goal that you were aiming at will not be achieved. So you have to already start thinking that, okay, this change that I'm taking, this decision I'm about to take, how is it going to affect these people? And when it affects them, what will I do in order to make sure that the intention of this change actually goes through? Because if you don't have that vision, if you don't have that foresight that, okay, this is what is going to happen and this is what I'm going to do, at one point in time you'll be stopped. There'll be no way for you to pull through your idea. Maybe what you wanted to really do was brilliant, it was excellent, the results are going to be very good. But since you deal with people who have different backgrounds, different educations, they've grown up in different environments, they are wired differently, they can't understand or they can't pick from the signals that you are giving, and the idea that you are bringing through will not go through. So understanding the perspective of your audience, let me put it that way, the perspective of your clients is very important. That's why the introduction of change always necessitates education. Education is very, very important, because if you want to always crack through, people will resist. So when you are affecting change, the elementary is that you should educate whosoever is concerned. Give them the notion, the need. Explain why this particular decision is supposed to be taken and the results that may be at the end of the day if that decision is implemented. But if you hit it on the table, you hit your hand on the table and say, okay, this is what it's supposed to be and it must be. Naturally, human beings resist change. They will say, okay, since you are saying that it must be, we will see. And once they say that, it becomes a becomes a hard knock for you to crack, for you to be able to pass that idea to go through. So elementary, understanding your audience, understanding your clients, understanding whosoever your employees, and bringing them on the table and educating them for whatever reason is going to be a good way or a good channel for you to be able to effect change effectively.
Okay. Now, understanding human dynamics, but now is it also important for us who are involved in businesses to also learn from previous examples? For example, I used the example of the match producing company in Cameroon. They went out of business because there was a new technology. We are getting maybe you were specialized in providing wristwatch in Cameroon, and today almost everybody can now get them from their phones. Can we learn from this and already start seeing ourselves 20, 30 years from now?
All right.
In whatever domain we find ourselves.
Salio, let me not say I'm contradicting what you're saying, but when you say 30 years from now, it's too much.
Okay. In the next 10 years.
In the next 5 years.
Yeah, because technology moves
yes,
so fast.
It's on high speed. I call it tempo run. It's on high speed right now. Now, you know, when I look at the way things are changing, especially in the financial sector, it's crazy. It's crazy, like seriously. Mr. Buju was talking about the blockchain technology, which is actually a disruptive technology that is going to kill so many people if they don't actually start adapting to that right now, because that is used right now worldwide. If America can already integrate their banking system with regards to the blockchain technology, then we should all understand what is happening around the world. You know, there are some key countries, trust me, that while they already adopt some changes, we the petit frères, we don't have any choice than to abide to that. Now, with regards to the changes, I think probably the only best way for people to actually adapt to these changes is through informal education. I don't know if you have happened to have some informal education as part of the formal education that we all know. You know, informal education, I don't know, Mr. Lee, if you went to a particular school to learn how to use smartphones. Good.
I just called if I'm blocked somewhere. I say,
yes, so these are some of the informal educations that I'm really talking about. That is the best and the fastest way that we are going to adapt to the changes. Trust me, social media. Right now, we are on TV, yes. What happens to people who don't have TVs available to them right now? They're following us on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's the technology.
Yes, and there is an app already which people are going to be downloading across the globe to be able to follow whatever we are doing here. Very soon we are going to be announcing that.
I think let's give them the plan.
Yes,
that is good innovation.
Yes, I think there is
so
an
you
app.
guys are not left out.
There is an app already. Very shortly we are going to be announcing it so that wherever you are, if you are in say in Oku now and there is no light, like those of our brothers who are in Kumba now, we hear that there's no electricity in Kumba. All they need to do is they download the app, and through the app they can watch. You see,
Wow.
this is the program.
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
That's great. So a big shout out to the entire team.
I think that's what we are talking about.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, so but the issue is, wherever you are, try to see how previous giants are no longer in the market. Maybe people will think that it's bad market, not knowing that they were outclassed by new technology.
Of course, if you don't follow what happened to, they say what happened to cocoa affects coffee. So if something happened to cocoa,
Coffee ignores.
It's going to happen to coffee. So we need to learn in whatever thing we do. And what was like to draw back examples to our own companies, what we do at Tex Group. We've learned over the years that the only way you have to stay on top of your game is to keep moving faster. When others are doubting, that's when you move into the market. At this point, when it so happened that many people lost their jobs, many people wanted to know what to do, what could be a source of their livelihood. We said, despite the fact how challenging life has become, that's when we expanded our market to integrate what we call absentee farmers in Test Global, to be particular. These absentee farmers became people who had money, who could now give their money to us so that we can do our activities and share the profits with them. Because we realized that, okay, if you tell people that, okay, take these products and go and sell in the market out there, the people, we are restricted by COVID-19. So how do these people move out and sell products to bring us commissions? Instead, we decided to source out better machines that could do our work for us. Like we have, instead of employing 100 people to come and do manual spraying of our farms, we just have some machines like the Magpie, which will do hectares per hour. As bringing these technological changes, we're anticipating that is what we do that our competitors don't do, or those who do almost the same thing with us. There are many, there are also some agricultural investment companies in Africa, but Tex Global is taking the step as to lead the agricultural innovations. That makes us unique and makes us stand out, and we are not leaving anybody out. We decided that, okay, if you have your money, because some people have even lost their jobs, people will come to us and, no, I lost my job. The only thing I still have left with me is 500,000 francs. So what do I do? And they are thinking, okay, if I want to start a business today, getting a shop, I will not have capital. I'll say, okay, this is your money. You have to register to our program and then invest the money. Why we give you education, financial education, you prepare yourself. Your money grows. Your money grows because we understand the world is built over time. And for that reason, there are some that when you start making money, sometimes I say, okay, you have to go to Shape Academy. Go to Shape Academy where you study entrepreneurship. You study how to survive in this world that is highly disruptive. That things seemingly is just constant. If they told us that COVID-19 was going to come and display the world the way it has done, we would say no. The world has predicted a lot of things, but it did not predict COVID-19. It is now going 2 years. We have resisted, and we have adapted to it. People now order things online. Still in that line, I think Tex Global is also doing something towards that direction, where in the nearest future, you are going to sit, if you want to order your maize, to order your water fufu, your arrow, or whatsoever, you go to our website and you order it.
What's Ames Global? What happened to it?
I mean, Tex Global.
Ames Global. Was there anything like Ames Global? Somebody's asking. I don't know. Can we clarify?
Of course, it's a network marketing company.
Where is it? The headquarters is in Douala or Yaoundé?
Well, it's an international company.
A foreign company.
They produce maize.
Well, I don't think they were into agriculture.
No, not into agriculture.
Yes, but
are they still operational?
They're operational.
Very operational.
So because two persons have written that, what's happening with Ames Global?
I think those people have websites that they can check there. And
okay, so
yes,
you guys can just check about Ames Global. But what we are talking about here is Tex Global. Tex Global is
Cameroon's own.
It's Cameroon. Yeah, they need.
Cameroon's own global.
I wanted to add something to what Mr. Wuji was saying, talking about checking the industry to see what has happened to those who were in the past and the present.
You may think that they went out of business because of bad market.
Yes, I want to look at it in the direction of students. In fact, students out there listening to what I'm about to say. It's very important. If you are studying anything in school, look ahead and see those who graduated before you in that domain and see what they are doing and see if actually that is helping them to survive in life. Because I want to say this is one of the things that is really causing a problem. On yearly basis, thousands of students graduate from our schools, but I call them outdated because they graduate and they can't feed in the market, which is that change that we are talking about. If you're a student, you are producing what the society does. The society doesn't need anymore. So if you're a student, take that responsibility. If you're studying accounting, marketing, look at what is happening in the society. Look at those who graduated after you, before you. See what is happening in the society. Can you feed in? If you can't feed in, be asking yourself, what am I supposed to do before I feed in? Don't graduate and then find yourself in the market and you can't find a job, and you start, you start being frustrated, because education is good, but informal education has a way it can enhance your life after school. Because when you graduate, yes, the certificates are good, yes, but to what end? I'm relating to what Mr. Leo asked, the question of you seeing those who have been in the field like you, those who have failed, and being able not to enter the same pit that they entered in. Because truth be told, if you want to always learn from your own errors, then it's going to take you such a long time. But if you learn from the errors of others, it's going to be very, very easy for you. So students, take note and try to open your eyes and see what is happening in the world and make that necessary change.
Yes. So let me add something to what Mr. Paul just said. He touched a point that is very, very peculiar. Mr. Leo, I don't know, can you imagine that a student who is studying marketing, all right, in a professional school for that matter, one of my mentees said, sir, you know, I don't know, I cannot do online marketing. It's difficult for me. I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do. So I'm like, you say you're a marketer for that matter with a degree in your pocket, and you say you don't even know you don't even know where to start doing online marketing. Then I ask myself, which company on earth at this moment is going to employ you like a marketer if actually you cannot do online marketing? Because that is where the big market is, you know. So actually this is a very pertinent point to every student or those who have graduated already and are out, you know, trying to fit themselves in. The only thing that I can advise you to do is to see how you can innovate, how you can add value on the certificate that you have through informal education. And trust me, before you notice it, you will fit somewhere.
Yes, but I think that is very crucial, because we say that a company is producing what the community does not want, but we also fail to understand that maybe we have lots of unemployed graduates is because they themselves produced what the society does not need. We have thousands of people who graduate, and from the onset of this program we say we must be solution oriented.
Yes.
You are coming out of 1,000 persons are being churned out from this university, 2,000 from these universities. What solutions? How are they going to be meeting the needs of the society? And somebody sits for 10 years with no employment and is cursing an aunt, and without knowing that the society no longer needs.
Actually, Mr. Leo, if I want to take it to when we were still in school, I think that the problem is lack of orientation.
Okay.
Literally, I'll tell you that when I went to university, there are some programs I don't know that existed. I don't know that there's something like there's like soccer and I was like, what is soccer and ants? And they said it's sociology and anthropology. Then I asked my friend that, what do you want to do anthropology in this Cameroon? Please tell me what you want to do with anthropology. What do you want to do with there's some type of programs like what do you want to do with in this country? And I'll be like, except you want to go out of the country. If you want to go out, then it's all good. So we don't really get the orientation that we need when it concerns what to choose. And when I'm talking about orientation, it's not about what is available in the school, but what is available in the job market. It's easier to excel in life when you get so much information in what can back a natural skill that you have, a natural talent that you have. Take for instance, you don't like to talk, you don't like to communicate. Then you're going to study, practical example, I have a friend of mine, when we were back then in secondary school, she used to do commercial studies. She was very good with it and all the like. And after so many years, I meet her in Boya, she's a journalist. And I was like, commercial, accountant, journalist, how did you pass? How did you cross? Yes, most of them are nurses. But now this is the funny thing. She's good. Because we used to just know that she's one of those students who used to like to chat a lot. Like, whenever she's around, there's always life, she's always fun. She talks more than how a commercial student should talk. It's like how we used to say that science students are the ones that meditate. But there's some science students that if they start talking here, you fall sick. Like, they can talk and they're really noisy and rowdy. And sometimes I'll look at such people, I'm like, maybe you should just go to something that would want you to be talking. Because you do well. And that's it. Okay. Another practical example I'll give us, talking about the aspect of education, I told my elder sister that she forgive me that I'm always using as an example. My elder sister, when we were growing up, she's more of also somebody who is she likes to talk with people. She's very funny. Like she does a little bit of, she does comedy unconsciously. Like she can literally say something, everybody's laughing, and she's just like, she's not finding it funny. Like, why are you people laughing? And not the like. But we know that in the house, she's the one who has physical strength. Like when it concerns work, she can start working from now to tomorrow, and you are telling her that sit down, and she sits down, she's thinking about the next thing to do. But what she was studying was she was studying something. Is it office practice? There's something they used to do office practice. I used to do shorthand and all that. Like that's what she was studying. But today, as I'm talking to you, my elder sister will tell us that she enjoys carrying her pillars in the forest. She's a surveyor. She enjoys standing and holding her machines. They can stand on their machine for how many hours, and she's not tired. Imagine that when we're growing up, what she was studying was literature. That's what she was studying. Then after she got her advanced level, she woke up one day and said she wants to be a surveyor. And that was it. And today she's excelling in that. But there are so many of us that we don't see this way. We produce what people don't need with our certificates. And if you're producing what people don't need with your certificate, trust me, you'll not just be jobless, but you'll be broke. And that is why you have to be informed about the changes. You have to be informed about the things that are happening around you. You have to be informed about what people need. You have to be informed about what people desire. What can your certificate put on the table for others to be able to leverage? What can you be able to do with your certificate that people will enjoy consuming it and pay you in return? Meaning that if you're already at a point where you feel like, okay, because I know that some people listen to us now, they'll be like, okay, I'm already in school, what am I supposed to be doing? And all the like. It's okay it's okay for you to continue your education. We're not telling you to, don't go and say somewhere that we ask you to drop. Although some people who are risk bearers will be willing to actually drop and pick up something that they feel that they can move with. But if you've already gotten to that level, what we are telling you now is that get a skill. Okay. There are so many things you can get as early as now.
Get a skill, but we are talking about how to succeed in the midst of change, and disruptive technologies. And at times when the technologies take us to the evolution takes us by surprise, we may not be in good financial situation, which means that we may have to invest, which also highlights the need for always saving for times like this, because if you have to switch, maybe you need to invest in new technology. So whatever you are doing, there is need for you to save enough for rainy days.
We're coming back to money, Mr. Leo. I want to say everything we do concerns money. Everything we do resonates around money. And in economics, we study something, the reasons why people hold money for unforeseen circumstances, foreseen and stuff like this, personal motives. But today, it is necessary for us to save as well, to understand that we can save for our upgrade, as individuals, as companies. I think in most companies, one of the stuff that takes the highest part of their budget is research and development. Research and development is one of the things that really takes a lot of money in any company. And if you know that you are supposed to be researching and developing, you have to preview it in the future, and you actually keep an allowance that can permit you to innovate when that need be. And to you as an individual, Coach Jason will always say, if your wardrobe is bigger than your library, then you have a problem. To you as an individual, continuous learning is not something that you should put on the table and start weighing with something else. Because imagine that Android phones came up and you can't manipulate them, and you don't want to learn how to use Android phones. Do you imagine the kind of fun that you'll be missing? Do you imagine the kind of business that you'll be missing? So at one point in time, we must accept what must be, and then ask questions what we must do to be able to fit in that gap. So you foreseeing the possible change and keeping an allowance for you that will enhance you to adapt in that change is very important. For quite a long time, we have pointed accusing fingers to the school so much. Yes, the school system as it was in the 50s, 60s, 70s, the 2000s, it is still the same today. But to you as an individual, I think you can as well make a change. Because I had a terrible experience today. A lady called me. We were supposed to talk to Op 6 students, who are about to have the advanced level and go out in the university. We were supposed to talk in one school, and when we got there, the arrangements were already made, but when we got there, somehow the principal asked what he was supposed to gain individually, and we could not provide, and he did not give that access. That is one of one of the limitations that we are really having in this country, because one of the best ways that we can switch and manage and manipulate this change to occur effectively is that when students are in the classroom, schools should take that responsibility to bring professionals who are already practicing. Since these students are learning to write a particular exam, and this exam has syllabus, that if they don't study that, they will not be able to write that exam, they should take the opportunity to bring experts that are already practicing to come from time to time and educate students of what is happening out there, to orient them, to open their eyes to the reality, so that when they step out, they will not graduate outdated. They will understand what is there, they will be able to make the right choices. But now, if schools are adamant to understand that they are supposed to create this liaison between the schools and professionals, so that the students can have a better view of the world, that change is really going to take a longer time than we're thinking.
Change is going to take a longer time. So we have to save, we have to, because it is also what we talk about, a plan A, plan B, plan C. Is that plan Z in business?
When you talk about a plan B in business or a plan B in life, is very important. And I love talking finances, because I believe that money is the ingredient of which life can be enjoyed with. No matter what you do, if not of money, we won't be sitting on this table. Let's not, we cannot pretend about it, though you need the human capital and the rest, but you need what will facilitate that process. And that's why it's important for us to be able to save, and not only save, because if you save without the purpose, you're going to end up using the money, because unforeseen things happen. If you keep money at home or in a bank account and somebody falls sick, you are supposed to, you will definitely remove that money and give. Or somebody comes, you see someone who needs it, you may give it, and your future needs it better. So that's the reason why at Text Group with Text Global, you actually had where you have an investment opportunity for everyone, where you can actually invest your money there. When you invest your money there as a member of our community, why you have the lessons, because we realize that the society or our school system did not teach us a lot of things. How to grow wealth, how to master money. Those are things that Mr. Teke teaches very well. How you can make money to be your friend, that you can get up in the morning and command, I need more of you, and definitely you will get it, because it all starts from the mindset, where you have things like the billionaire mindset are there out there for everybody generally. But now the company offers investment opportunities where you can actually invest, know that okay, this is it. We invest in agriculture, we take agricultural activities, poultry farming, you have importation and exportation of agricultural machineries, as well as exportation of agri products. All those things are activities that was like, okay, this one becomes a community project, because that's the way we would develop this continent. We cannot do it by waiting to take everything from the West. So now, we give every Cambodian, every African, no matter if you are home or abroad, an opportunity where you can also become part of this, where you can invest your money, let it grow just the way our crops grow. That's why we look at it. Now you can, when you now have a source of income as a plan B, you will now be able to, okay, if you see that the education that you acquired is outdated or is obsolete, you can now acquire something better. You can pay for personal development events, seminars, and attend. But if you don't have money, you cannot do this. That's why I ask somebody, so okay, I want to start a business. They have the money, they don't have the technical know-how, they don't have the knowledge, but you need to acquire it, because you did not study business in school. And even if you studied business in school, the realities are totally different. At one point, you need to always have, okay, I'm having a job today. What happens if I don't have that job tomorrow? How will my life look like? If you don't think ahead of time, you will be shocked, because there is nothing that stays the same. Even your job is not static. Even anything can happen tomorrow. As I say, no one knows tomorrow except God. So we have to prepare ourselves, know that okay, if this doesn't work, what happens? If this certificate that I have, so I'll put it back to you. Is if your certificate is holding you back from moving ahead, forget about it and learn a skill, acquire something that is going to help you. I have many people who come that okay, someone like on Facebook, they just come and write, I need a job. You ask them this question, what can you do?
Yeah.
Certification.
There is nothing they can do. They just need a job. What did you study? I have a first degree in history. Then what will you do with your first degree in history in our farms?
You pass it then.
Okay. Evening presenters. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Ali, I think you touched a very key point on savings. You know, to all my youths out there watching this program, for you to save does not mean you must be making millions to be able to save, because we have to be saving right now for the disruptions that are going to take place in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years that are coming actually, because there are so many other innovative opportunities that will be coming. And if you don't have money to start up with that, then you're a misfit actually. Now, for you to save, this is a secret that has worked for me, and I think it can work for you watching me today. So just imagine somebody who is able to save just 250 francs every day. It's very possible. It's very possible, because saving is an aspect. Is you have to consider, it should be like a habit. You must not save big. You know, with most of these credit unions that are actually doing daily savings and all of that, they're actually helping people. Now, but if you can't do it like an individual, you can buy a small bank, you put in your house. You know, that's how my father trained us, and that's why some people, even when I was in school, they always think maybe I always have money. But meanwhile, that is not the case, because we just always try to save for the unforeseen, you know, for personal reasons, like what we studied in economics. Because that's a very key factor we're talking about here. If actually you don't have money, trust me, you can't do anything. Even if you have the opportunity right in front of you, the technological opportunities and all of that to innovate, yes, but if you don't have the money, it can't work. It can't work. So savings is a very, very key point that you did mention. I mean, everybody should take this very, very. You must not have millions before you start saving, but you can just start with the little you have and save, so that when the technologies come, then you can fit in.
Yeah, we are talking about savings because I want us to look at it. We are talking about how to succeed in the midst of change and disruptive technology. So I thought that we should look at the possibility and the need for us to save, so that in case the need arises, you can help. But then another very key aspect that many persons who are into businesses I don't know whether they consider it very important, is the credit worthiness of what they are doing. Because you may just be in need of 10 million francs, but because you are not credit worthy, and that is the loan opportunity you have to turn the tide, and maybe you are disappointed because you are not credit worthy. Is that not also something that companies or business persons need to work on?
Of course, if you're a business person and you're not credit worthy, definitely
there's no business.
There's no business, because there is this this issue of trust. There's this issue of, if you take, can you give? If you take, can you give? For instance, you have I would say there is no business. Even Bill Gates, it's owing. Bill Gates is owing money. With all the money he has, he still makes money from somewhere. He needs people's money, because as Robert Kiyosaki will always say, you always have what we call other people's money. That's OPM. That's actually a book on its own. But if you are not credit worthy, nobody will definitely give it to you. If you walk up to your investors today, or to the people, your clients today, and say, okay, this is the project that we want to take, and this is the you need this amount of money. Can they give it to you? Do you deliver? That is the question. And it comes back to us. It comes back to us. For 4 years now, we have been delivering at Tex Global. We have been delivering our promises to our investors. I don't know if there is any investor anywhere, because there was a time that in one of our seminars, our manager said, if there is anybody who has ever invested with us and not received his or her return, the person should show up even for a fee, and nobody showed up. That tells you how credible we are. And as a businessman in today's world, if you say you are going to do this, you have to do it, because if you don't do it, tomorrow people will not trust you. People will not give you their money. People will not even buy from you. So it boils down to the fact that whatever you are doing, you can want to change and people will not take you serious because you have not been delivering up to the expectations of the people. So as an individual, as a business person, you need to be, I would say, right from home, even as children, we have to be that type of people that are reliable. People who are reliable, that okay, if there is something, if your mother forgets something, they will say no, they will call you to pick this on. Business cannot survive if there is no authenticity, if people are not real. And that comes back to us. We've had a lot of bad situations in this country where businesses show up, they give our people false hope, they give them all type of promises, and they never come to the reality. That is one of the reasons, that's what inspired the creation of Tex Global, that has given birth to over 6 companies today. It's because of the fact that many companies have come, promised that we were going to be in heaven, and they gave us the level in hell. So that is the difference. Okay. And as a businessman, you must make a difference.
If I should add something to that in terms of credibility, I got to understand that people easily respond to systems than to individuals. They will easily give you money when you have a system than when you are an individual. So in essence, even as an individual, try to develop even simple systems that people can be able to trace. And this is how this person lives as an individual. Meaning that if I meet somebody as a person to collect money from the person, or that you should come in and fund my business, you should know something about me, a synchronized step of activities, a system of activities that you know that can make you pay the money. That's why that has gotten to a point where in Boyana, if you want to rent a house, the landlord asks you that what do you do for a living? Meaning that there should be a system that is supporting you for you to be credible. There's even when it concerns businesses, when you go to the bank to obtain loan, I'm sure you know so much about that. When you go to the bank to obtain loans, there's so many things that they put into consideration. Like they ask you questions. I got a little bit of information when I was working at the microfinance. There's a lot. Even the loan officers who are there, they might be talking with you as smiling bird, just discussing with you. They can tell if you pay back that loan or not. Like they have some intelligence that
they've had
experience that they can easily know. They will ask you so many things. They will ask you for collateral. They will ask you for your business. The first thing they always want to know is how is the money going to come back. That's what people want to know. And if you don't have a system that can produce that money, nobody, even your brother, will not give you. There are people with you in your family who cannot give you money, not because you're not nice, not because you have a bad character, but the problem is that they know it's a bad debt you will not pay back. Yes, build the system. When you build the system, you'll be credible. Morality is just having more good moral values, having a good way of communicating with people. It just adds to it. You can be very nice and someone will be like, I really like this person, I give you the money. When it's time to pay, they will not remember that you were nice. So build a system. People will respond to a system better than individuals. So when I say system, it's not like, I'm not saying go and establish a company. I'm saying that let somebody look at you and know some activities that you put in place that can be able to sustain a credit given to you. So as early as now, start fixing that around you. If you really want money,
there's a way my mother used to put it. That live your life in a way that the community can fight for you. That's when you do something and she's so angry she doesn't beat you.
Yeah, but
she'll just tell you live your life.
What you're asking is a question I already have here, which has to do with you want to survive in terms of change and disruptive technologies.
Yes.
you know, if you are so nice, you are doing business with a human face, even in times of difficulties, and people think that they may switch to another person, but because of how nice you were with them, they will stand with you in solidarity and accompany you do the switch. But if you were not nice to them,
the switch will not even waste time. As I was saying, live your life in a way that the community can fight for you. Live your life in a way that somebody is accusing you somewhere, and somebody stands up and say, "Don't talk about that man like that." I know who he is. I know what he can do, and I know what he cannot do. You understand? That's a whole lot of credibility. You know, the same as she was saying in the bank. No matter how you satisfy all the rules, so if that C character, if it doesn't satisfy that one, even no matter what, will not give you that money. And that is what we're talking about here. Character in business, as an individual, as a company, is very important. Understanding your people and working with them trustworthily. I mean, at the end of the day, the real currency is not money. The real currency is trust. That's the real currency. We are all seated here and we are talking because we trust that these things are going to transmit our voices, and their cameras are going to transmit our images to a people that we're not seeing that they are there, but we trust that people are watching us. You understand? That's the real currency at the end of the day. In whatever domain. I don't think that's only in business. Trust is everything. We sit in the car and we start going because we trust that this car is going to take us to a journey. We hold money in our phones because we trust that we want to remove that money. That money is going to get back to you. Understand? So at the end of the day, the real trust, the real currency that we're talking about should be trust in anything, and especially to you, a businessman. It is very important for you to make sure that your clients do trust you, because hard times will always come, whether we like them or not.
Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Leo, just to add on what Mr. Paul is saying, so many people just admire the way people live their lives in the US now, but do you know that people live their lives in the US based on trust, credibility? Credibility. Meaning they can probably just say, okay, Mr. Buji, you need a car for $10,000. Okay, it's fine. You bring your records, they check to see if you're credible enough to be able to pay back. I think that's a very, very important point. I don't know how. I probably let's just pray and hope that our system is working on that to see how they can actually help their citizens, to level up. Because actually, there are people who have that credibility in Cameroon. Yes, but there is no major platform, there is no major system that can help them get to that level. Yes, so I think credibility, like we are saying here, it actually starts from an individual, and that's why I always use a slogan: that man live by man. There is no way money is going to grow on trees. There is no way money is going to grow on animals. But trust me, the money that you need is in another person's pocket. Either you have a service or product to give that person, or
that person will trust.
That person will trust and either give you the money. If I have money, yes, and you come for a loan, if I trust you and I know that you're going to pay him back and you have a good vision, why would I not give you the money? So I think that's a very key point where Tech Global is actually selling, because since day one till now, nobody has ever complained of, I call that betrayal of trust. Nobody has ever complained of
Okay, good evening to you guys in the studio. SSB from Bangam in Southwest region. Africa technology is still low in the process. Okay. Task Mark, I really think to prepare our students for this emerging world, our teachers, especially high school teachers, should orient the students on the competitive world to students about to go into the advanced level. Next week, I want us to look at this issue of certificates certificates where thousands have they don't have job because
it's important.
Certificates are because the certificates are too many.
No, but if you have a certificate in let me say in anthropology today, and you are in Douala, you want to work, who needs your services? So I think that next week we are going to look at that.
Yeah. Mr. Teko was angry when he wanted to employ somebody and say, the person brought about 50 certificates because now everywhere there is a certificate they go and collect. By the end of the day,
now
the certificate can produce anything.
Now, Mr. Liu, I think probably we're going to put certificates They will put in quote certification.
Okay, no,
What do you know?
Yeah, but I think that next week we
we
need
talk about
to
that.
do a series on this about
Yeah.
because many parents are sending their children to school today, and after graduation the children will not have a job, and they say there are no jobs because those
There are no
certificates
jobs.
actually,
And there are jobs everywhere.
yeah,
So we'll
those
talk
certificates
about
are
that.
not needed. The society today needs something else and not what we getting out there. This one says, good evening, Mr. Liu, and warm greetings to all the panelists. I wish to congratulate my media prime for the full maximum team and coverage of the funeral of our late Senator Fon Emeritus V.E. Mukete. Keep it up. Your flag is on high. Thanks for the great job. Thank you to Prince Williams, writing there from Kumba. One of the major ways of succeeding in the midst of change and disruptive technologies is by staying focused. Thank you. Tomorrow, the whole ceremony is going to be live as we have started today. Our lone problem is lights in Kumba. Good evening to you all in the studio. Mr. Kuma, I think disruptive change results from innovation in industry, change in company structure, or transformation in business models. These fundamental changes disrupt the way an organization conducts business, and in recent times, the rate of disruptive change has increased exponentially. Examples of recent disruptive technologies are e-commerce, online news sites, ride-sharing apps, and GPS systems. Automobile, electricity, service, and televisions were disruptive technologies in their time. As well, Mr. Ewang is writing from St. Francis in Kumba. Good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Romanos from Douala. Thanks for this educative and lovely program. Permit me, Mr. Liu, to ask your panelists this question that is running through my mind. Most of these fake banks that made away with people's money lure them with 100% bonus. How can one trust Tex Global this time around? I'm sure Mr. Buji is going to answer you. Good evening to you, Mr. Liu, and panelists. Let the infinite spirit be with you all. Please, Tex Global, should we bring our project proposal to you directly, or there is a special format to fill in line to loan scheme, Tex Money? Ngala Divine is writing from Boya. Good evening to you all in the studio. I'm Ken Frank from Boya. I think success in the midst of change and disruptive technologies is a major call for concern for corporate level strategies. Diversification is important in change and disruptive technologies. Okay. Good evening to you all. The educational system in Cameroon has failed us, the youth of Cameroon. I'm watching from Bahrain. I hope you are doing well, because the news we got from Bahrain last time was not too good. You take care of yourself out there, please. Now, yes, that is Bila Maurice. We hope that you are taking care of yourself, Bila Maurice, and we pray that you succeed in whatever you are doing out there. Mr. Buji, we are talking about the need for people to trust what you are doing, but is it also very important and capital for those who venture into businesses to have an open spirit for a potential merger with other companies? So I'm talking about networking, because you may be tied to your position that you will never merge, but because of the need to engage other technological companies to boost what you are doing, you may be forced to open up.
Of course, the issue is, if you don't have the spirit of collaboration in this today's world, you may have the idea, but you don't have the technology to put it across. At one point, you need people who are having the technology, and you need to be able to incorporate them. Before I dive in, I think you talk about the issue of trust. Somebody says other companies that have promised, that have disappeared with people's money. First of all, they call it a bank. Tex Global is not a bank. Tex Global is an agricultural investment company. We also do multi-level marketing. But the principal idea, what we do is we invest in physical things. If you want to visit our farm, to visit and you'll see the projects. And these companies that they mentioned I said one time I've been a victim of these companies as well. So I have seen fake, and when I see real, I also know. So within this time, Tex Global was officially registered in Cameroon in November 2017. You can count the years and months. We are going 4 years now. So, and most of these companies that have disappeared, people's money disappear within this very range that Tex Global was there. Tex Global is still there, and I want to cut in Mr. Teke's word that so long as God permits, Tex Global will live until the day that God decides to change, or what did he put it, that if God when God no longer exists,
when God is no longer seated on his throne as
throne.
God,
as God, that's when you will not have Tex Global. So long as God is still on the throne, the company will be there.
Okay.
It is not just that. What we do is quite unique. We are feeding the world, and so far as people eat every day, money will be there for the company to sustain itself, and we will share to the investors as promised.
The need for networking
yes,
in companies, even before we are pushed to engage, to embrace change, we should already be warming up.
Mr. Leo, we supply agricultural machines. As of now, we have not yet adopted the technology to produce these machines. There is a company that is producing our machines for us. There are companies that we have partners who produce our farm inputs, organic fertilizers, chemicals, all those things. They are already partnerships. We have already learned that we are in a global world, because with change, the world also is a global village, which means that things are interconnected. These days, we're having an office in the United States of America. How do we get our goods to go there? We need a company that is specialized in transportation, and they should do it in such a way that our goods will arrive in the US in a more well preserved. But if we are not open to collaborate, if we are not open to network with other persons, and that's why in our system we also say, okay, let's not just, we will not focus on just ourselves. Those who, the community man can make a lot of money from just promoting us, from simply sharing about, recommending our services to others, recommending our products to others. Those are things that's one of the skills in the 21st century that if you acquire it, how to connect with people, relationships, that's what will give you money. Money is not found anywhere in banks or what. Money is found in people. So at the end of the day, your network is your net worth. That's the summary of it.
Yeah, the networking should start even before the change comes.
Yes, networking should start before the change comes. It's easier to know where you need change when you're working with people. Talking with somebody will tell you if you're more intelligent or you are less intelligent. So what happens is when you are talking, when you're networking with people, it will be easier for you to be able to identify your strengths and your weaknesses, and you know where you need change. And as some of these people that we network with, some of them have undergone a change and successfully passed through the change that we intend to go through, and so we're getting information from them. Now, one more thing about the aspect of networking: many people don't like to network because I'll say they are insecure about their ideas. They feel like when somebody gets into your business, this is the first thing, that somebody comes in, if I network with people and then they want to do maybe partnership or something with my business, they will start sharing the profit with me. That's the first thing that comes to people's mind, and so they begin to run away from it. But trust me, if you look at the production chain and everything that circles around production, when you have the input, you have the output, there must be sales at the end. You who is having an output, you need somebody who will provide the raw materials, or somebody who will be the market. So imagine that you don't have somebody who is supplying the raw materials, or somebody who is selling. It means that you produce your product or your service and it stays with you, and so you cannot grow. So it is very important, very necessary for you to network. I think in the Billionaire Mindset, Mr. Teke spoke about association, the power of association, the people that you have around you. When you start networking with people, it builds you a lot, because networking is the highest form of informal education. The highest means to have informal education is by networking with people, because you sit beside them, you learn things. Now, personally, I would say whenever we sit like this and we're talking on TV, now I might not be so much with Mr. Guan or with Mr. Buji or Mr. Paul every day. Now, when we're talking, all of us are talking about the same topic. But they get to say some things. I'm like, okay, I didn't know this one. I didn't know this one. I'm adding it to what I know. I'm talking, they're adding to what they know. When you get up from here, even you who is talking to the audience, you've built up something. But now most people out there, they feel like they can stand alone. It's not possible to stand alone. Every system has units. So you must have people around you who are working with you. The only problem I have is that people make mistakes when they want to network. You must not, it's not about networking, it's to have the right network. Don't be a truck pusher and your network is a hairdresser. Meaning that there should be someone that repair tires, truck tires.
That's
Yes.
the key. Yeah.
Yes. You should have somebody that repairs truck tires. I used to tell somebody that if you get to my phone, I have almost all contacts that you need. Any person that you need, I have the contact in my phone. I used to say, if you want taxi driver, I'll call the taxi for you. If you want keke, I'll call for you. Anything that you want, there is a contact in my phone that I'm the most one I can call. Because when you understand your path that you're going through, that you're going by, you should know that people, so certain persons are needed in that journey. But like I said, have the right network. The reason why many people lose themselves and lose their skills is because they're associated with the wrong set of persons. So we're saying that even as you're trying to network, go for people who have a mastery about what you are doing. Even if they don't have a mastery, go for people who love what you are doing. I might not have a mastery about hairdressing, but because I love hairdressing, sitting beside you and talking so much about hairdressing, it will be a push factor to you. I'll be encouraging you to get into research to have new styles. And now, if I'm a hairdresser and I'm working with you who have a perfect mastery, I will be learning from you. Meaning that it's a two-way something. When you're networking, you network with those who are down, who are lesser than you, and those who are above you. So check your network. Now that we're talking to you, check yourself. If you're a teacher or you're a banker, or I'm talking about a banker like this. If you are a banker, you're a teacher, you're an entrepreneur, a businessman, a doctor, whoever you are, this is an assignment I'm giving you now. Where you are seated, check your network. Just start checking the people you have around you. Just check. I remember one time, I said this one time on air, that one time I checked my sister's status and then she said she's deleting some people's numbers today. Then I just sent an emoji like, what's happening? Then I continued watching her status. She said, I just discovered that nobody on my contact list can dash me 10,000. Like, it means everybody's broke. So even though it was funny, I was like, so you want people to be dashing you money? They should be gifting you money. She said, but how come you need money and then nobody has? Like, nobody on contact list has 10,000. How? I was like, okay. So now check yourself. Even we might be laughing about it, but let's be honest. In your contact list, you have one person that you know that if you land into trouble now, that person can even lend. Let's not say gift you the money, can lend or come or give an assistance. Or you have a problem with the police and you have somebody that can even the person is a police officer, the person can call on your behalf. So we're supposed to check our network here. We have people who have mediocre mindsets, people who are down there, who are not willing to change. If you have a sort of persons, practice social distancing. Let me talk like Mr. Teke Samuel. Practice social distancing and remove those people from your contact list. Delete their number. It's permitted.
Okay. It's permitted. Yes.
All right, Mr. Ado, please just to add on the networking aspect that you're talking about. Networking is one of those key factors that are actually going to help so many people. Let me take an example, a practical example for myself. You know, when I left the university, I did not have up to 200 contacts by phone. But as at 2020, December 2020, when I checked, the contact were on about 4,500 things. Now, how did this come about? I know Mr. Liu. Mr. Liu knows that, okay, Gwan is into online business activity, coaching, mentoring, and all of that. Mr. Liu has somebody who probably needs that service. Is going to send that contact to Gwan plus one. That person knows another, maybe I just render the service to that person and he or she is satisfied. She has to recommend me to another person. That is how the network started growing. And believe me, if I was just still doing my job like an accountant, that's what I studied in school, which many people don't know because I'm quite confused. They ask me, are you an ICT guy? Are you a marketer or what? Now, if that was the case, I don't know if I would have had the opportunity to enter into Prime Minister's office. I don't know, but maybe it would have taken me so much time. But thanks to networking, we met the guy who works the Azure, like we call it, at Prime Minister's office. We were eating the same restaurant one day, and somebody I know was close to him. That's how we got an entry into the Prime Minister's office. That is the power of networking. You must not be too rich or too poor to network. In fact, networking is for everybody, no matter the class. You know, if we all respect this concept of man live by man, trust me, it's really going to help. It's really going to help, because there is no way like a rich man you're going to live alone. There is no way like a poor man you're going to live alone. There is no way like a middle class person you're going to live alone. So we all need one another. All that can be done only through networking. So many people have a very bad mindset about that networking. When they just hear networking, they think it's network marketing. No, we're not talking about network marketing. We're talking about networking in real life.
Mr. Liu, I like your program. We'll need to take notes when watching your programs. Thanks. Julius is writing from Bafusan. Yes, that's the best way to study, and it shows how serious you are. A stars Mark from Kumba. Thanks so much for such a program. I think programs like this should be propagated in all its forms as far as possible, so as to prepare our youth for the future. Yes, we're going to do that. Good evening to you all in the studio. Elumba Pride watching from Cyprus. Good evening to you, Pride. We pray for you guys out there. It's not easy, we know. We pray God keep you people so that you can help some of us back here now. Yes, you can wire us some dollars. So we have to pray so that things work out for you guys. Greetings to you all out in the studio, especially my boss, Mr. Paul. One thing that is really discouraging is that especially in our country, we are forced to change or divert to other ways because we don't have people to advise the younger ones. So I just want to say thank you for bringing up programs like this. I love you all. I am blessed this evening. I'm Carlson Bambe watching from Douala. You should know him. Good evening, my great mentors. I don't think how I can appreciate you people for this wonderful information you people are giving. Seriously, only God can reward you people. I feel so satisfied with the information. By Ingam Kasmil, writing from Loom. Good evening to you, Kasmil. Good evening, is King Brown. I like your program. Thank you very much, King Brown. Good evening. I wish to say I love what you people are presenting about the changing world of today, but our problem is the colonial curriculum, which has been conditioned to produce graduates who can only remember but cannot apply or integrate the knowledge into this world of technology today. Universities offering courses which has no place in our own society. How do you explain that upon graduation into Department of Physics, you cannot electrify a house? You study medicines, but you don't know the plants that have been processed to give paracetamol. Please, this problem starts with the government before individuals who are shy and adamant to upgrade oneself. Abel Clarence is writing from Douala. Many persons are raising the issue of curriculum and the studies. So next week we are going to be discussing that. Mr. Liu is Julius from Douala, Bonabere. I love the program. It's very educative and pertinent. Thank you very much. Now, one core aspect I want us to look at is also in investing in the personnel. You're a business person. You have a shop. Maybe you are working with 3-4 persons, and you think all they need to do is to stay where you met them, without knowing that if it is possible, you have money, you can send them to Nigeria to see how the guys in Nigeria are excelling in their business so that they can come and upgrade what we are doing. You have guys working for you in the company, you are free to spend to upgrade their skills. Is that what also we have to do to prepare for a possible day that we are going to be imposed by nature or by our consumers to make a shift towards embracing new technologies?
Of course, I think that is one of the things that many entrepreneurs fail to practice. Like, we've had meetings, we've had personal development events where you only have CEOs coming. They don't come with any staff or any other thing. And this actually makes me remember what Mr. Teke Samuel does. It's one of his traditions that whenever you're working with him, your own personal development, your own growth and education is very important. I remember the other day he called me at about, was it 4 o'clock? And he actually has to put us, I and Miss L, on phone, that we have to have our own lesson this morning. Because he's tired, he won't be working with people. He doesn't want to, every time that's something that we can do, then he has to be there. So that is what I think any other leader who actually wants progress out there should do. Invest in your staff. Teach your teammates. Let them know what you know. Because I believe that as a leader, if you don't have somebody that can do what you know, or that can do what you usually do when you are not available, then you have failed in that aspect. You must be able to duplicate. The rich man understands that duplication. You duplicate, then you leverage, so that you can be able to even delegate powers. You can say, okay, this thing is happening today, you go and do this. But in organization, in your business, your small business, you have 5-10 persons. How much is the budget you have dedicated for the training of your staff? Seminars come, your staffs are not there. How would they catch up with this change? Nothing. They're teaching about maybe the robots. You don't know anything about robots. You have not sent any staff to be updated about robots. When they finally arrive, what would you do? Because change is not something that, the truth is that Africa is leading technology. We have not actually looked deep into it. In Kenya, I think there is this a watering system that have done that. It can water the whole farm. It's like somebody created rain. It's like semi-rain in Kenya. We've had Democratic Republic of Congo. A mobile phone is designed there. So all these things happen. We cannot think that technology or change is far from us. We must be ready. And one of the best ways we can do this, send your personnel for training. Let them be upgraded, because even when you get them from these schools around, what they have studied in school is just theory. They need to get practical lessons. I don't know who said something today that is it you, Mr. Paul? Like sometimes if you don't have anything to be doing, you just need to hang around somebody, just be running errands for somebody. Yesterday. You're the one yesterday. Yes. Yesterday. I thought that touched me so much, because you have youths, they are doing nothing. They cannot attach themselves to any service for free.
No,
they don't want to save. But you cannot save somebody and you don't learn something.
Okay. Yes, they need to upgrade our skills.
I want to add something to what he was saying. You know, this thing, if you don't train your staff, it goes in two ways. It goes in two ways. If you don't train your staff, obviously your competitors will take over. Competitor who is training their staff, they're going to take over. Secondly, if you have staff who value their personal growth, they will leave you. That's another one. A staff who is growing and the environment where he is not fertile for his growth, he will leave you. And so many companies are losing important staff just because they don't understand the aspect of focusing on the growth of their staff. So those two aspects are very good, because at one point in time, I'm looking at my personal experience. I got so agitated because I was fighting to be working and learning, and each time I have to learn, I'm sacrificing something that I was thinking that, okay, maybe the company should give me a chance to learn. You know, when they don't give that chance, it becomes a problem. At one point in time, I said, no, if I need to be learning, then I'll need to step out. And that's what so many companies are not seeing, and so many companies are losing maybe experienced staff, you know, that you could just give them an opportunity to upgrade and serve you better and serve your customers better and give more income. But because you don't understand that, okay, I picked these people here, technology was here, now technology has upgraded, it is my responsibility to make sure that they acquire this technology at this level, so that they will continue serving my clients.
You still want them to use a typewriter? Why?
You want them to use a typewriter? Why everywhere they are using machine, they are using computers? It will not add up. And if somebody wants to grow stakes in that kind of system, the person will obviously quit. And if you want to stay in that kind of system, you lose clients, because while somebody is making check, somebody just make a button and everything is done automatically, and you lose clients over time. So that aspect of training your personnel is something you cannot do away with.
Yes, but the training also should be the interest of the personnel. Now you're working somewhere for 10, 15 years, you don't see the need to upgrade, especially with the trend with information communication technology. You're working somewhere and almost we have Facebook, we have WhatsApp, we have, and you yourself fail to upgrade yourself, you're going out of the market as an employee.
As an individual.
Yes, it's very important. It's more of your capital in everybody's business. Being an employee, your skill is your capital in that person's business. Meaning that's what gives you profit in that business. It might not be your business, but serve it there. What you're putting in is what yields income for you. Meaning that if you are not building yourself, if the leader has already caught the change and is implementing the change, the moment they discover that you can no longer suit in, you'll be kicked out. There's a statement I used to say, if you don't brush up, you'll be brushed out. That's how the marketplace is right now. You brush up mentally, you brush up in any way that you can be able to fit in the job market. That's how you brush up. So you as the personnel be interested, because there are organizations that the leader, okay, I'll give a practical example. We were to do corporate training for a restaurant. So we had to implement that, and so I was setting up everything. I had to do the feasibility study and everything. So I think I was waiting for the training. You organize the training. It's as if when the boss called me and said he does not know why he's risking himself, because he's paying this training away from their salary, and he's getting up in the morning and calling them, have you gone for the training? Why are you still in the house? Don't you know you have to? They don't see the need. And the man was like, he's wasting his time. The only thing we did was, when they came, he said they can use some few minutes first before he started training to bring their mind to the importance of what they're about to do. Because when you're building yourself as a person, even when you're no longer serving in the company or the institution or organization that you are in, you still have something to put out to be able to earn something away from that job setting. When you leave, you still have something to give out. All right. So as a person, desire to grow. If the personnel in the business have the desire to grow, it also pushes and encourages their leader to invest in their growth. All right. So you are supposed to desire that knowledge, because that's what is going to keep you staying there. Trust me, someone comes with another brilliant idea. You don't know when you've been sacked. You don't know when you will leave the job, or you will leave your own business. You don't know when you will leave, because someone else will come in. So build yourself, and it's not just formal education, both formal and informal. Ask. That's how we spoke about networking. Just know somebody. Just know somebody. When you know the person, you will know something. That's it. When you know somebody, you will know something. Yes, and the person you are knowing will know somebody that has what you have, what you need rather. So just keep gathering so much information. Just don't get tired of learning. Nobody gets tired of learning.
We must learn all the time. Do you have something? No, you don't have. Good evening to you all in the studio. This program is amazing. How I wish these lessons was being taught in our schools, especially for those going to universities like me. Due to this program, at least I now know what I'm heading for after my advanced level. If these lessons can be extended to schools, it will be really helpful to us, the youth. We hope we are going to work out something for the schools. Yes. Hello, Mr. Leo. Please, I want Mr. Teke to throw more light on online business. I'm Augustine from Gabon. I'm sure. Oh, the numbers are not there today. Augustine, just write to me after the program. I'll send you their numbers so that you can get to them. Good evening to you all on board. Just to thank you for this program. I really wish other young people are watching. God bless us all. Special greetings to my partner, Guan Faith's Counselor Lewis, writing there. Yes. Can we also say that the other core factor that can help us sail through very difficult times when changes come is our mentality. The winning factor. That despite the odds, I am a leader, I am a winner, I'm going to come out victorious.
All right. Mr. Leo, I think that's a very, very important point. Thinkation. This, I always call this the hard drive. Once, it's just like a computer. What comes to your mind? They say your hard drive has crashed.
Computer is down.
The whole computer system is down. That is where everything starts. Before the computer, you really recognize that yes, this is a computer. I think the mindset is one of the biggest factors that could ever help somebody succeed or fail. That's why I really recommend the billionaire's mindset to everybody. Somebody told me, billionaire's mindset. Boy, you're a billionaire. I'm like, if I'm not a billionaire in the pocket, I'm a billionaire in the mind.
That's right.
Yeah, because that's where everything starts. That's where you conceive every little idea. I'm recommending the billionaire's mindset to everybody watching this particular program. If we have some people who have bought the billionaire's mindset, I've just read maybe chapter 1 to 2, 3, they have not finished the book, complete the book. If you have not had a copy of the billionaire's mindset, you should have it. Trust me, Mr. Lee, that book is a whole transformation that has been put into writing. Yeah, because if somebody's mindset is ready, no matter how the situation is, no matter the matter, chivat and salty, like the Frenchman will always say, because like I always say, if you know where you're coming from, you know where you're going to. Now, if your mind is not made up, every little obstacle is just going to be like a setback for you. But trust me, like I always tell people, failure is part of the process. If you have that in mind, no matter the matter, you will succeed. Because one thing that has killed so many people too, with regards to the changing technology, is that technology is something, when it comes, it will not automatically just happen the way we think. You know, automatically just adapt the way we think. We left from Choronkos to Android system, smartphones. It was not an easy transition, but today people are adapting right to that. Why? Because of the mindset that they have. That okay, smartphones can give us what Choronko was not able to offer. So the mindset actually is very, very important. Very, very important.
Mindset is very important. We must always win.
Of course.
Difficulties are opportunities.
They say a threat to the status quo is an opportunity in disguise. That's according to Nicky Vet. So, if you adopt a positive mindset or a growth mindset, we talked about mindset last week. You need to have a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. But people with a fixed mindset, they cannot embrace change. They will try to resist change, and then what happens? Change crushes them and leaves them useless. When this crisis started, I said something that if you do not change, if you do not adapt to the change, after the crisis, after the COVID-19 crisis, we will now have a new crisis, which is you. Because you refuse to change. Yeah, of course, because there will be, how will you, there are many things that have changed. There are businesses that you used to run, you used to meet people. Things have changed. People now you have WhatsApp status businesses. There are much. You have people who make hundreds of thousands every day for simply using their WhatsApp phones. I tell somebody, if all you do is to activate data for 100 francs and go and watch other people's status, then you have failed. You are a failure. What you need to do is you need to be producing something. You need to be adding value. When you add value, that's the mindset that everybody should have. Now, what is that is trending, so that I can also join the community of winners? Let me not be a loser. If all you go on Facebook is to go and post and get likes and comments, then you have failed. You have to change. And for you to change, you must have this growth mindset. Learn from others. Every day, the time I have an opportunity, I try to post at least once every 2 days. And I make sure that I am adding value to my community. I'm adding value to the people that are following me. What are you doing?
Okay. Pa Denise says, great job to you guys. Bruno Nine says, good evening to everyone in the house. And good evening to you, Guam Prinette. No. Bruno 9, good evening to you. Mr. Liu, I'm from Tico. Yeah. Hygienist Sakamba says, thumbs up to Text Global team. And Mu Joseph Ngan says, we are live from Kumba. Joy Gabriel Elun says, greetings, Mr. Liu, watching from Anshman Emirate. Guan Joelo says, good evening, Mr. Liu. Mr. Guan Faith and you guys are out there. Love the program, very educative, watching from Yaoundé. Hello, Mr. Liu. Lily Kerr says, I have taken my seat. Rinda Clovis says, good evening to you all in there. Yes, Lily Cruz, good evening to you. Mulai Kema, good evening, Mr. Liu and panel. Mulai Kema is writing from Paris. Mark Macaulay says, greetings, Mr. Liu, watching from Maiden Buildings. And Julius Caillou says, greetings, Mr. Liu and the entire crew. I'm watching from Equatorial Guinea. Wesley Angoni Tiku. It says, watching from the United States of America. Good evening to you, Anita Eno. It says, we have to be open and accept to change for the sake of growth. Yes, we have to change for the sake of growth. When we say that the mentality should be the winning mentality, to see problems as opportunities. Yes, imagine the profit margin of, you're talking of Sony, when they were engaged in fish farming.
Yes,
Samsung. Yes, and the billions they make today, to say that what you are resisting may just be where the gold mine is.
The gold mine is. When change comes, the first thing that comes is fear. People are afraid of the unknown. They like to be comfortable, like, okay, I already know how this place looks like. It's better to just stay here than to venture into something that I'm not sure of. Fear is one thing that steps in with change, all right? And that's what it's fear that stands as the scales in our eyes that is blocking us from seeing the opportunities that are wrapped up in the change. Remember, now take the word I'm using. This is the change. Take it like a should I say a bulb or something. Now this is a bulb. It's not the, how do you call it, the lens that shines. What shines is actually something inside that is smaller than the whole pack of the bulb, than the whole bulb. When you say bulb, it's not what you're seeing, it's the light that is inside. And now that is how change comes. You need somebody to take the bold step, because if you just see it like that, you might not really believe that it can light up. Right? You need someone to take the bold step to go to the switch and put on the switch. And then you are trusting that what is big is not what will shine. It's what is inside that is smaller that's going to shine. That's how change is. But now fear, you're like, what if I put on the switch? What if I don't put it up? What if I put on the switch and it's not come on? What if is what has killed so many people? Just do it. Let me talk like my sister. Just do it. Not what if. Now, according to the billionaire mindset, fear is an acronym for face everything and rise, or forget everything and run. That's it.
So
either you face it and you rise, or you forget and run. So that's how it happens. When change comes, see it as an opportunity, and you see how the growth is going to come from it.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Leo. It's Mr. Fondu Alois Khalidim, writing in Kumba. I'm enjoying the program. We business people. Yeah. I'm Lionel from Yaoundé. I'm enjoying the program. Please, how can I get the billionaire's mindset? Can you just call us after the program? We are going to give you a number in Yaoundé that you call and get a copy. Good evening, sir. Interesting program. I'm learning a lot. Please, how can we get the book Billionaire's Mindset? Anderson, writing from Yaoundé too. Anderson, we are going to give you a number there. Hi, Mr. Kum. Love watching your show and listening to those great intellectuals. Please ask them to explain how the colonial cooperation agreement that the country signed with France in 1960 to stay colonized benefits the southern Cameroonians who became independent in 1961 and didn't include us. Ask them why they think we... Yeah, I'm not sure that is part of the program now. I'm sure next time we are going to be discussing these things. out of time. We have to end here. It's also weekend now. We want to say thank you to you, Mr. Buji, for coming.
Thank you.
You have an announcement?
Yeah, we always end with announcements. Tomorrow we are going to be having a seminar in Yaoundé, in Limbe, and also I think there's one Miss L will talk about more on text breed. Then we'll be having a seminar in Yaoundé on the 6th. So those who are writing from Yaoundé, you can actually attend it at Jega Palace on that is Sunday 6th of June at 2 p.m. Then that for Bamenda will be on the 20th of June, and we'll also be announcing more seminars as the schedule is unfolding. So it's been a wonderful time, and I always learn from the audience, their wonderful contributions, and it's great to know that people watch us all over the world.
Okay, those asking for the Billionaires Mindset, the numbers are there on the screen. Just call those numbers after the program. Good evening to you guys there in the studio. It is a great job you are doing for our generation. May God bless you all greatly. The mindset is what determines the outcome and the life and individual experience in this world. And we have failed to understand that Satan, that Jesus Christ fought against, was a belief system of the world. But today we fight a created figure called Satan, which we have created by ourselves. I pray this will one day be made clear to the world. Thank you. I'm Faison Garloff, writing from Boya. Thank you, Miss L, for coming.
Thank you so much, sir. I recognize that name, and I know those type of words can come from him. That's really great. Okay, so to everybody, somebody asked about text breed. Yes, please let me clarify this. Text money is an app. Text breed is the one funding your project. All right, so let's not mix the two. So tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. just to us, we're going to be having a seminar in Boya, and the venue is at Shep Academy, Bunduma Gate. As you get to Bunduma Gate, you see story building written there, Shep boldly. So tomorrow we are going to be talking on how we're going to be funding projects. Mr. Teke said he was going to be funding projects, business projects. We'll be talking about that. So we're encouraging everybody, those who have business ideas, those who are far, those who are near, please make time to be there tomorrow. It's very important for you to be at that seminar if you want your business to be funded, all right? Because I'm going to be doing some little activities like filling the registration form, getting your project code. A lot of things will be happening tomorrow within those 2 hours. So make time to be there. And also for Shep Academy, enrollment for the next session is already ongoing, because we are starting this training session this upcoming Saturday. We're going to be having that's next week Saturday. We have our graduation. And we are starting the training session. You have to get empowered. So look for a means to be enrolled at Shep Academy. You need have businesses, you need funds. Please be there tomorrow for the text breed seminar. And also thank you so much for watching, and we pray that as you're getting this information, let it not just end there, all right? Let's together build it, because we are the change that we want to see.
Okay,
thank you so much.
Please tell you what is the price of the book. I should not say it. Call that number. They will tell you how much it costs. Mr. Liu, thanks again for such programs. It reminds me of personal income out of salary income. I am very grateful this evening. Ekele is writing from Bunaberi. Good evening, Mr. Liu and everyone in the house. This program is just amazing and educative. I wish my fellow young Africans be watching this show every Friday for the development of our continent. I am Yaya El Maron from the Gambia. May our Lord continue to bless you. Thank you very much. Ari writing from Kumba says, we have rarely seen a white holding the guns to fight us. Okay. Greetings, Mr. Liu. My part, I don't have much problems with the curriculum because it's not within my powers to change it. I care much about what I can change, my personal development. Teachers, journalists, lawyers, other workers are upgrading, and you are surprised to see them acquire new skills and money while you are dogmatic. The key to success amidst technological disruption is personal development for all. Ari writing from Keita. Ari, you just said what we said earlier on. Thank you for that wonderful contribution. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leo. Thank you to our wonderful audience. It's always a pleasure for me to be here. We've shared a lot of ideas today, as Miss Earth rightly said. Don't just get this point, but also try to practice them. It's okay to talk and talk and talk, yes, but if no action is taken, nothing will happen. As you business people have been watching, you notice that this show, the Prime Hour on My Media Prime, is solely watched by so many people. It's also an opportunity, like Mr. Leo always said, that you should start advertising your programs using this show. So let's keep watching, let's keep empowering ourselves, and that's how we are going to build the Cameroon we want to see.
Yes, come and advertise, please. Come and advertise. Use this program to reach out to your audience, not for free, because last time when I talked about, almost everybody is calling me that I should help them. Also help us now. Yes, thank you.
All right, Mr. Leo, thank you very much, televiewers. We are very happy and super happy for having you guys this evening. It's because of you guys out there that we are here today. So we say thank you very much for your time. Thank Mr. Leo and the entire team for this wonderful opportunity. So God being our helper, inshallah, next Friday we're all going to be together. Thank you very much. I will make see the young shall grow. Thank you.
The young shall definitely grow. Mr. Kum Loyango should know that oops, no. What you're writing is unrelated to what we are discussing here. Next time you write it. Good evening, Mr. Leo and all the panelists. This is Carl writing from Yaoundé. This is the best program on Cameroon TV. Wow. Keep up with the rich programs. Mr. Guan Fitz, I see you. Okay. Yes, but you did not tell us who is writing. I am Agua Pekis writing from Yaoundé. I wanted to ask when the doctor will come. Okay. Somebody is writing to find out where this seminar is taking place in Yaoundé. Jiga Palace on the seat. Yeah. Okay, so if you're in Yaoundé, call the numbers and we are going to tell you where the seminar in Yaoundé is going to take place. We all need to shift paradigm so that we can be productive to ourselves, to our families, to our communities, and our nation. We can do it because others have done so. We want to thank you all who took time off to watch the program, especially the production team, Eli and Desmond, and to you, Noel and Bertrand, and the broadcasters. All of you have done a wonderful job. And a special shout out to the team out there in Kumba, broadcasting live the funeral of late Senator Fon V.E. Mukete, the paramount ruler of the Bafors, who slept in the lot. We tomorrow are going to be broadcasting the official ceremony live on My Media Prime TV. Greetings to you, Masa Tok Tok, who is out there, and to you, who is leading the team, Kaiser Michelle, and the entire team. Not forgetting you, Sidwan, Tamfu Sidwan, who is doing a formidable job out there in Kumba. Not forgetting you, Suleiman, Mr. Suleiman Muhammadu, who is also always giving us a moral boost from Kumba, and to you, Larry Essong, and to the entire people of Kumba. Our hearts, our spirits are with you. Guys, stay blessed. Bye-bye.
Together, let's celebrate football non-stop for 50 days with the UEFA European League UEFA Champions League Finals. And from the 11th June onwards, you can watch the UEFA Euro 2020 in full live and in HD, commented on by our best experts on the Canal Plus Sports channels. And right now, the HD decoder is only 5,000 francs from the Access formula. Hurry to take advantage of it now.